Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. This is Carol C.C. Miller, your positive life strategist, peace activator, and global hugger, coming to you with a Monday momentum to hopefully get your week started off in a positive frame of mind, a positive frame of heart, and a positive way of being, knowing that life is beautiful and life is messy. So the more that we can bring what we want to our lives, the more it's going to help us move through the do not wants in our life. Again, I am Carol C.C. Miller. I am coming to you live from Chicago. So as you join me, let me know where you're joining me from. And I'd like to start off these sessions, especially if we have new people, with a couple of reminders about me. And one of them is I am not a big believer in absolutes. You will catch me saying the word always on occasion and never on occasion, but it's a rarity because there's 7 billion people in this world. So I can't say that for 7 billion people, it's an always, or 7 billion people, it's a never. I work on the majority of the time. So my scale is 0 to 100. 0 is always negative. 100 is always positive. And I don't know anybody who is at 0 or who is at 100. I know people who are the high 90s or in the low numbers in negativity and positivity, but we fluctuate. We have good moments, we have challenging moments, we have exciting moments and celebration moments, and we have sorrowful moments. So my focus in my personal life and in the coaching and what I bring to you is to focus on the majority of your experience being the majority of the time you are kind, the majority of the time you are loving, the majority of the time you are compassionate, and the majority of the time you are peaceful. I promise you, fear is going to visit you, disappointment, frustration, anger. All of those feelings are normal and they're going to visit you. But the more that you practice on who you want to be and how you want to show up in the world, the more you're going to come from that space as well. It's 5:30 p.m. here in London. Hi, Sylvia. Good to see you. You're coming up as a Facebook user because you are in my group, but I do know that you're in my group from London, so I'm assuming it's Sylvia. So welcome. And then the second thing I like to remind people is I'm a coach. I love coaching. I love supporting people in growing and realizing their dreams. I am not a counselor or therapist, and sometimes we need that added assistance or a different assistance. And you are so very worthy of living your best life. So whether it's a coach, a mentor, a therapist, a counselor, whatever it is, I encourage you to seek out the support that you need to live your best life. And I am live here Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays within my Embrace Your Life community, which is a free group to join. I just ask 2 questions to keep out spammers, and then here on Positive Focus as well. So I like to welcome the new members of the Embrace Your Life community who have joined since the last week. And Vanessa has joined. So welcome, Vanessa. I'm excited to have you part of the community. It's certainly a smaller group of people than the Positive Focus page. So I'm able to see questions and comments a lot easier to respond as well. And so those are the things I like to remind people of. Vivek, welcome. It's good to see you here. I hope I said your name properly. And I will come into comments after I go through what I'm here to discuss today. If I stay in comments, I will get sidetracked and lose my train of thought of what I wanted to share today. So I will be back. So please, if you have questions or if you have some ideas of what you would like me to discuss on future Embrace Your Life chats, the whole point is to heighten your celebrations and lessen your sorrows through a positive focus. Life can be hard, life can be challenging, and life can be beautiful and easy and peaceful. So I'm here to help with tools and tips to make your life as easy as possible while knowing there are going to be some hard times in your life because that's part of living. I don't know of anyone who has not gone through some rough patches and maybe going through rough patches right now as well. So it's not about, I think sometimes people see positivity as rainbows and unicorns, and that would be awesome. I would love to have a life filled with just rainbows and unicorns, but that's not reality and it's not practical. So it's about bringing love, kindness, compassion, and peace to our celebrations. And it's about bringing love, kindness, compassion, and peace to our challenges and our sorrows. So happy Monday, Amanda. Hi, Nicole. Okay, I got to stop looking at comments or I will get sidetracked. But anyway, if this is the first time you join me, I sometimes have guests. Tomorrow I'm going to have a panel I'm speaking. Sometimes it's just yours truly. And when it's just me, I usually pick a word to discuss. Then we come up with an affirmation to bring that word and incorporate that word into your week. And then I'm a big quotes person. I love words, so I share some quotes that fit with that topic. And then lastly, some tips and tools on how to bring that word into your daily experience to help you live your life a little fuller, a little richer, a little kinder, and more exciting. So today's word is purpose. And the definition, and this is Merriam-Webster's definition, something set up as an object or end to be obtained. I don't know, I suspect you've all thought and asked yourself or wonder, what is my purpose in life? And some people know their purpose as far as how to bring it to fruition. I mean, generally speaking, our purpose is to live in a space of love. Some people's love is to be coaches. Some people's love is to be an accountant. Some people's love is to, be a tour guide. There's so many different ways. And some people's purpose is not their occupation. Their occupation allows them to do their purpose. So there isn't any right or wrong, but it is about living in your space, in your life, from a space of the majority of time being in a loving space for yourself and others. Again, fear is going to visit, anger is going to visit, frustration, all of those feelings are going to visit. But what do you do with them when they do visit you? If you're aware of them and you know it doesn't feel good, then you can shift into feeling a little bit better. When you're on autopilot, life is living you. You're not living life. When you're in awareness, even in the painful areas, you are living your life. You are able to make shifts and adjustments and reframe and change. Or you're also able to stay there and feel bad or feel angry or feel frustrated if that's what you're choosing to feel. Sometimes you need to stay in that space longer than other times. And you're the one who's going to know when it's time for you to shift into a better feeling thought. It's not right. It's not wrong to feel sad. It's not right or wrong to feel upset or angry. It's what you feel and how you want to move forward with it. So today's affirmation, in case you're not really familiar with affirmations, it is a statement. A lot of people think of affirmations as a positive statement, and they can be, and hopefully are positive statements. But if you are affirming to yourself right now, or you're saying, it's a statement, I am not very pretty. I am not very smart. I am not whatever. That is a negative affirmation. You are affirming something about yourself that you either don't like or don't want. So you want it to be a positive affirmation on something that you're affirming that you do like about yourself or you do want in your life. So if I were to say, I am very pretty, that in itself is a positive statement. However, if I say I am very pretty, and immediately in my head, I'm thinking of pictures or whatever I'm thinking that says, no, you're not pretty at all. Then even though the affirmation, I am very pretty, is a positive statement, it is not positive for me because I'm immediately saying, no, you're not. So when you go into that space, you're going to want to add, either change it completely to something that's believable, or add in, I am in the process of feeling very pretty. Because that way you're stepping into it, and that way your brain is not going to immediately say, no, you're not. So you want it to be believable. It can be a stretch from where you are right now, but you still want it to be believable, because otherwise your head is immediately going to shut it down, where it's not an actual good affirmation for you in the moment. So today's affirmation I chose is, I move through my day with purpose. If you're having a day right now where you're feeling less than, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling sad, anything that's holding you back from living your best day, I would then add, I'm in the process of moving through my day with purpose. And your purpose can change from moment to moment too, so keep that in mind. And we'll get to that part in the tips as well. My quotes that I chose for today are, the first one is, our prime purpose in this life is to help others. And if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them. Dalai Lama. Again, our prime purpose in this life is to help others. And if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them. Dalai Lama. And then my second one is when you dance, your purpose is not to get to a certain place on the floor. It's to enjoy each step along the way. Wayne Dyer. When you dance, your purpose is not to get to a certain place on the floor. It's to enjoy each step along the way. Wayne Dyer. And lastly, probably my favorite of the three is find out who you are and do it on purpose. Dolly Parton. Find out who you are and do it on purpose. Dolly Parton. So some of you know what your ultimate purpose is, but again, go back to the feeling place of who you want to be and how you want to show up, because that's your purpose. Your purpose in life is to feel loving, kind, compassionate, peaceful, and a myriad of other things. How you act upon that purpose. For me, my purpose is to help heighten celebrations and lessen sorrows through a positive focus. But that is because it feels good to me to help people in that manner. Your purpose may be as an artist. Your purpose may be as a horse trainer. You know, whatever it is where your passion is, that's part of where your purpose is. But it really goes back to who do you want to show up as today? So that's my first tip for you, is start your morning by asking yourself, who do you want to be today? And how do you want to show up for yourself today? Mondays tend to be my busiest scheduled day. My days are always pretty full, but Mondays are the days that I have set appointments at certain times. And so there's Mondays that I'm like, oh, we're going to have a busy, busy day. And I'm putting myself into a space of overwhelm. So I ask myself each day, who do I want to be and how do I want to show up today? So today might be that I'm focusing on things going smoothly for me today. Today might be I'm meeting some new people that I've not met before and I'm excited about it. But I'm shifting from a space of overwhelm into possibility. So you start, that's tip one, start your day asking yourself, who do you want to be and how do you want to show up? When you're in a place where everything is working, it's pretty easy to know who you want to be and how you want to show up. This question is pivotal when you're in those challenging spaces, because it's easy to step into not wanting to show up for yourself when you're going through a hard time. But when you ask yourself that every morning, and not in a space of beating yourself up at the end of the day if you don't show up as your best self in that moment, but it does put it in your awareness of how you want to show up. So when those hiccups and those roadblocks and the twists and turns happen throughout your day, it's going to be in your mind, am I showing up right now as who I want to be and how I want to show up? And I promise you, this is a practice. Again, I'm a majority of the time person. So the majority of the time, I suspect it takes daily practice for this question to pop up in your head easily. Some people might be able to do it like that, but the majority of us require it to be a daily practice. I've been practicing this for several years. Do I still have days where I let the day run me instead of me run the day? Absolutely. It doesn't happen for a full day that long anymore. Usually I'll let the hours, the morning runs me, and then I remind myself, wait a second, I'm focusing on what I don't want more than I'm focusing on what I do want. When I say I'm focusing on what I don't want, I'm not saying to pretend it doesn't exist. I'm not saying to stuff it and not think about it at all, but I am asking you to bring love, kindness, compassion, and peace to that conversation. And sometimes when we're in a really hard challenge, it's really hard to think from a space of loving kindness, compassion, and peace. So that's where we step out of it for a bit till we can focus and bring it back into who we want to be and how we want to show up. Probably one of my biggest tips that hopefully I share a lot is to not beat yourself up. We are all human. We're not going to get it right 100% at a time. Again, it's the majority. I work on a skill where I'm working on for myself and the clients that I work with to be in a space of love, kindness, compassion, and peace 80 to 100% of the time. When I fall below that, which happens, the work is to not beat myself up for feeling that, but to say, okay, what's going on now? What do I need to address in order to feel a little bit better? It's not about telling yourself the feelings of unworthiness, the feelings of frustration or anger are bad, because they're not. They're feelings that want to be heard. They're feelings that want to be addressed, and they're feelings that want to be released once you actually listen to it. And I kind of look at it as listening to your younger self, your 5-year-old in you, your 10-year-old in you, who might not have gotten the answers that they wanted at that time in their life. So it keeps bubbling up for you again. So tip 1 is to ask yourself, who do you want to be today and how do you want to show up? The next tip is to know your values, to know what's important to you. Because when you know what you value, then you can make decisions moving forward with knowing those values. Is taking this job aligned to my values? Is being in this relationship aligned to my values? And it does not mean that those answers are going to be easy, but knowing your values is going to help you. That's one of the things that I do with my coaching clients is I give them a list of a bunch of different values, and I ask them to circle the ones that are important to them. And then we bring it down to 5 that they're going to, 3 to 5 that they're going to really focus on. So mine are love, kindness, compassion, and peace. Do I have other values? Absolutely. Integrity is a big value for me. But the 4 that I focus on the very most is, am I going to feel I have love, kindness, compassion, and peace with whatever it is that I'm endeavoring to say yes to or possibly no to, because it doesn't fit within my values. Not fitting within my values does not mean it's a bad experience, but it's not a good experience for me. So that's the second one. So the first one, ask yourself who you want to be and how you want to show up today. Focus on just keeping it in that small time frame that you're working on. You can work on how you want to show up in your life generally, but bring it back to today's experience on what you're going through right now. Second one is to know what you value, because that's going to help you make decisions. When we're on autopilot, life is leading us. When we're in awareness, then we can see our values, we can see what matters to us and what we want to experience and make decisions from there instead of letting life make the decisions for us. Just because you're aware doesn't mean that decisions are always going to be easy, but they are able for you to make with awareness much more than they are if you're coming from autopilot. And the last thing for today's tips is, I suspect a lot of us, and maybe not write it down, not everybody's a list maker, but generally speaking, whether we have it in our head or we have it written down someplace, we have to-do lists. Mondays tend to be a busy day for me on scheduled time. So I have the list of the meetings that I need to attend and what I need to prepare for those meetings. But what about taking the to-do list, not get rid of it because we have tasks that we need to accomplish, but a to-be list. What do you want to be today? What do you want to experience today? I want to experience kind, loving, compassionate, and peaceful people. I want to be kind, loving, compassionate, and peaceful as well. There's going to be things that I need to do within that day, and some of them might not seem kind because maybe it's an action that I really don't like doing. But if it's necessary to get to my end goal, my end experience of what I want the day to come about, then I can look at it from a place that it is kind to get me to the place that I want to be. So I really encourage you to consider when you're talking to yourself about who you want to be today, what does that look like to you? Make that list of what being who you want to be looks like. Make the list of what you want to experience looks like for you and feels like from you, and go from that space. It's a daily practice, and you get to choose if you want to practice it or not. I'm just encouraging you to. There is never, I'm just saying the word never. I am not going to tell you who you should be, how you should be, what you should do, or how you should show up. I am going to encourage you to focus on love, kindness, compassion, and peace for yourself first, because when you're able to feel it inward, the outer world is going to be so less chaotic to you. And we live in a beautiful and we live in a messy world. But the more that we can come from that space of love, kindness, compassion, and peace, the more we're going to come for solutions to the chaos, solutions to the challenges, to the hardships, to the tragedy and injustice that is in the world. So it's about who you want to be, how you want to show up, and how you want to move through your day, how you want to move through your Monday, your Tuesday. I encourage you not to look at Monday as being the day that you're already waiting for the weekend. Today is a precious, precious day all to itself. There's 24 hours in it. We're already through almost half of it here in Chicago. And we don't get those hours back. We don't get those minutes back. We don't get the day back. So do what you can to be who you want to be and how you want to show up for yourself as the loving, kind, compassionate, and peaceful person that you are. So that is it for today. Let me go into comments here, and then I'll share what's coming up here. Hi, Amanda. I see lots of highs, not a lot of questions. The purpose of life is joy. Check out, oh yeah, that must be Sylvia as well, because she's talking about Michael Ozzi's book, Your Life's Purpose. And it is a great book to read. I'll try to find the link to share that with you. Hi, Kelly. Good to see you. And Nicole, thank you, everyone, for joining me here today. Again, I'm here Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 11:30 Chicago time, which is Central time. So put it on your calendars, because I love having you here for whatever the conversation. I can't promise you I will always know the conversation a day in advance to give you warning, but I can promise you it's going to be about how you can live your life with a little bit more love, kindness, compassion, and peace for yourself, and then bringing it to the world around you, because we're each part of the equation of this global citizenship. So the more we can each find a little bit of that within ourselves and shine that out, the more that we're going to bring a little bit more peace into the world as well. So tomorrow, actually, speaking of peace, I'm very excited because tomorrow is International Peace Day. So I'm having a panel right now. I have Juliana and Ellen joining me, and we're going to talk about how to find peace within the chaos. And I can guarantee both of these ladies and myself have been in chaotic situations, and it's not easy to be at peace when you're going through life's challenges and life's sorrows or injustice, but it is possible. And the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. So we're going to talk about some tips and tools on how we've gone through some of those journeys. And please come and ask your questions about being a little bit more peaceful in your own heart. And I'm excited to share that with you, because it's definitely one of my big values is inner peace will create outer peace as well. And then Thursday, I'll be back. I don't have a clue what I'm talking about yet Thursday, but I will be back again on Thursday. And then the following week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. The first Tuesdays and the third Tuesdays of the month are our panel discussions. So I'm not sure the date, but the first Tuesday in October, we're talking about the 5 love languages. And if you have not read that book, there is an online quiz you can take, and you find out your 5 love languages. And we all have them, but some of them are more important to us than others. So when you know your love language, and when you know your romantic partner's love language, or your friends or your family, it's just helpful to know, because we tend to share the love language that we like the most. So if I liked words of affirmation, and I'm not going to go into it all because we're going to be discussing it in a few weeks, but if I like words of affirmation the most, and a significant person in my life liked gifts the most, and that's my lowest one, when that person gives me gifts, and the gifts can be small, it's not about massive big gifts, but gives a small gift, that means they're thinking of you, and that's their way of showing love, even if it's just a small little trinket. But if it's my least love language, which gifts is my least love language, before I knew that, somebody giving me a small trinket, like I would not say it to them, what is this for? But in my head, I'm like, I don't need this. I have no place for this, or something like that. But when you know that that is their love language, then you can turn it around into being really grateful that they're giving it to you, because they are showing you love the way they receive love. You tend to show love the way you receive it. So I'm excited, and I'll share the link on that day on finding your love language, or maybe I'll try to share it a few days ahead so you can come in with your questions on that. But I'm looking forward to our panel discussion on that to see where everybody fits. I know words of affirmation is one of my top ones, as is, I don't remember now. I have to look at my list. It's either physical touch, which makes sense since I'm a hugger, or it is quality time. So I'll have to check into those. Good to see you, Elise. Thanks for coming. And again, if anyone has any topic that they would like me to share, let me know. Tonight I'm excited. I am doing a beta testing of a program I used to do. It's about activating your dreams into reality, of kind of feeling them and feeling them right now. And so I'm doing a beta test tonight because I've done them in person for years, but I've not done them on a Zoom. This will be my second Zoom experience of doing it. And then I'll be offering that again on Zoom too. So if you're interested in that, you can email me at hugs@positive-focus.com. And I will send you the link to that. But it's a Zoom call, so I'm not going to share the link in Facebook because that's where you tend to get spammers that come into your Zoom when you share a link publicly. So that is what I have for you today. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about peace. Thursday, I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about, but I promise you it'll be something on helping you heighten your celebrations and lessen your sorrows through a positive focus. So go out there, have a great day. A Facebook user said their physical touch again, because you didn't accept the StreamYard link. I don't know your name, but I will come into the community and look at it later to see who's sharing that. But so I'm excited about the 5 love languages. It was a big aha moment for me when I read about it. It's probably been 10 years ago now. I don't know. It's been a while, but it was a big aha for how you interact with people that you love, knowing that they tend to interact with you through their love languages and you tend to interact with them through your love languages. So it's good to know the people around you, what inspires them the most. So that's what I have for you today. I'll be back tomorrow again with a couple of ladies talking about peace. So I wish you a peaceful day. I wish you a loving, kind, and compassionate day. And know that you matter. You matter to me. Oh, I forgot. Also, on the 22nd, and I will share the link, I'm part of a free Wild Women Conference. It starts on the 22nd. I believe it goes through the 26th. It's virtual. You would sign up for free and you get a link to the interviews. It's 30 different women sharing stories about how to empower you and to live your best wild, loving life. So I really hope that you join us on that. A very good friend of mine, Melissa Kim Porter, who has been a guest many times on here, is the one putting this conference together. So it's exciting to be part of it and to share it. And I hope you're, if you're not signed up, I hope you sign up today. Again, it starts on Wednesday on the fall equinox. So that is truly what I have for you today. So remember, you matter. You matter to me. You matter to the world. And most importantly, you matter to you. So take care. We'll talk soon. We'll talk tomorrow. So long for now.